To be a medical intuitive is to live in an energy world now where there is organic divinity. Carolin Myss teaches this. She says we're created to maintain our health and our balance, and lots of nervous system sensors are there for when we may lose power, get out of alignment, when we're operating from powerlessness, or imbalancing creates more of that. We're body wired. We have a stomach pull, a low back pain. So like when we're in our powerlessness and the imbalance creates more of that, it's the body feels wired. When there's stress in a relationship, we feel a pull in the stomach. When we're not eating right for the body, we get low back pain. When we have survival issues, it's a throat block. When we have financial stress, like about not having, whether it's possessive or competitive or worth identifying with worthiness or an untrusting, there's a knot. So we have to change language that we use about this to losing power. Not sick, not ill, not disease. We have to say losing power. This requires the courage and fortitude and offers a chance to face the resentments we have at ourselves for the cowardly or weak choices we made instead of getting into the blame mentality. Instead of getting into the blame mentality, it's, we face the resentments that we made weak choices because no one else's body will endure the consequences of our work, each one individually in orientations. And it may come from, needing to remain wounded. It's a familiarity, it's a comfort to have a functioning emotional life sometimes. And not everyone wants to heal or become whole. It can feel threatening. So we have to archetypically go through the wound to release it. We have to give up the power that this gives us, the wound itself. That's how we lose power, by maintaining the wound. What gives or takes power from us? When we believe our suffering, it's like a privilege, it's an entitlement. We stay suffering. There's no perceiving of injustices. Life should be easy. These beliefs are attachment to contributing to the suffering, passing it on and identifying it as if we're a righteous victim. We even want someone else to pay for retribution. Controlling the environment with pain is to be an abuser, to enable or martyr. These are tribal wounds, mother wounds, they're codependencies. Many people don't want to let go of their wounds, like the support they have from the wound, because liberating others to have their own lives could be the potential of freeing others, could be so threatening for someone who can't bear the loss of the attention, the power, and control that they have on others through their sickness or disease. The feeling healthy doesn't offer those benefits like staying wounded does. So weakening or disempowering the self for the sake of affection, support, emotional caretaking, attention. We really have to beat ourselves at this succumbing to learning who we are only because of pain and suffering. It's not to not need to hurt others so that they can understand us, is to become they and we become a creative force. We can think about, do we use our wounds to wound others? Buried in the rage of vengeance is the real pain, that they didn't care. That's what we find so hard to forgive in our carried wounds. Often there's generations, one after the next, inherently illogical to let grievances go. We have to get to space instead of recognizing the situational awakening of the darkness. We didn't even know we had, to be hateful or vengeful, horrible. And actually, we have what it takes to be as ruthless as what we see in another. Forgiveness is like either I kill you for it or thank you for it, right? So it turns out we can be as hurtful to anyone. As hurtful. Because it doesn't matter if it's us or someone else. The attacking is not fussy. The awfulness can hurt anyone. So we need to get this out of us, or we will continue to be a weapon of destruction. And the only way to get it out is to forgive us. Forgive ourselves and recognize our darkness. That has nothing to do with us now. It has nothing to do with us. I mean, not that it doesn't have anything to do with us now. It has nothing to do with us. It's more of a mystical truth than an illogical truth. But we really have to let go of the pain and the need for justice the way we want it and decide it should be, because there might have been a past life, there's a future life. We're like it's like a wound carrier came to release us from our captivity, and we've also been a wound carrier releasing others from captivity, and we're all cosmically of service to other souls in the drama of life. And every wound is universal. Every forgiveness is universal. What really causes us the pain is what the other consciously knew or chose anyway. So there's Carolin Myss, we need to use the vocabulary of the soul. She says we could say things like, I knew what I did hurt you and it didn't stop me. I did it anyway because I wanted what I wanted. I knew it would affect your life and it didn't stop me. I sinned against you by consciously damaging you. The potential consequences, wounds, even trauma I could or would cause you didn't, or your life didn't stop me. It was an intentional act that served me and destroyed you, and I'm owning it, that I've sinned against you, and I'm asking for your forgiveness. And Carolin shares that information is not knowledge. We have to understand significance and meaning. This is what people call the chakras. They're really like databases of information. And we can develop a reverence for this knowledge that is that's there. Because our knowledge, when we know the information, then we can have a relationship with it. It's like the law of cause and effect. It's a biological principle. We can see survival issues of life and where they play out in the body and learn to sense and interpret our body signals and even understand why things don't work. And we need to have a functional understanding to see where we lose and develop hemorrhage power. And for example, like someone is not energized enough to benefit from energy practice, or when the chemical medicine is necessary, or when allopathic is appropriate. And we have to, basically it's how to determine medical accuracy. It takes a tremendous skill and work. It takes attention, not just listening as a practitioner, and even isolating and reading things for decades. It's aligned with a physician ideal originally. How, doctors were also like often the spiritual workers. So this requires self-esteem to trust ourselves no matter what we're seeing in the world or receiving, and the energy system to trust our signals, to respect them enough and have knowledge of the world that we can't see, which is like power and vibration. Diligence is necessary when we deal with human life, and there's no more self-betrayal. Self-truth is all there is. That is the energy anatomy of energy being, developing a rapport with the interior. So being something, we cannot say we're one thing if we're not really being that. So the soul strength grows one day at a time as we battle the weak parts of ourselves. And a question we can live in, well, first of all, sometimes we have to say what things are not. Career is not job. Job is not a calling. A calling is where nothing else feels as authentic. It's our own unique grace. And the calling goes so deep it belongs to no one but me. So how honest, the question we can live in, and I'll end here, is how honest a life of being myself do I want?